So you really need to keep purpose in mind when putting in these buildings. And this second extractor is also very surprising. It suggests a fast lair. But, going back again, IMOC, if you wanted a fast lair, why didn't you make it right now? Right now, 4 minutes and 30 seconds. You can already make a lair. You have enough to make 2 banelings and a lair. But look at this, 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Watch how long it takes for this lair to come up. And I know it's because of the queen, but I would just like to drive the point home. Still no lair. Queen is done. Still no lair. 5 minutes now. Inject. Inject is a little late also. Your early inject should be right on time. This one was about 7 energy late. And now the lair starts. That lair is 41 seconds later than it could have been. 41 seconds. That's a ton of time. Like, you can walk an army all the way across your opponent's base in that time. That's a gigantic amount of time for your lair to be late. And he clearly wants a lot of gas, maybe for quick mutas, something like that. He's going to get supply blocked again, incidentally. And by the way, if you're watching this, IMOC, or any Bronze League players watching this, I'm not trying to make fun of your play. That's not my goal. I think it's fun to look at this kind of stuff, but I'm not trying to insult you or anything like that. I just want to make it clear how many things there are to focus on in just the first 6 minutes of the game. There's so much to say that should be improved. And all I can really add to that is, if there's so much in the first few minutes, just think of how much there is in the later game. And if you're letting this much slip early on, just think of how much you're letting slip in the later game. And again, I want to say, we need an overlord. This is getting very late. There's a lot of money built up. And sometimes there are good reasons to build up money, but this doesn't look like them. It looks like IMOC, with his 4 banelings, might want an expansion right now. Okay, SCV out. Want to be careful to not hit the SCV with your banelings. Going up to 6. Top Dog is running away. And yeah, Overlord. Yeah, see all this 3 larvae that cannot be spent because that Overlord was late. But it's out now. So see, look at all of this money, and look at all these banelings being made. So getting a lot of gas, getting a very fast lair, but drone count really quite low. And you should get used to doing what I'm about to do, which is just box all of the drones on your minerals and count them. 8 per row minus 2 is 14, right? How many mineral patches do you have? 8, right? So you have less than 2 drones per mineral patch. Never have less than 2 drones per mineral patch, ever, because you're just wasting money, basically, if you have less than 2 drones per mineral patch. I mean, once you're on 4 bases, 5 bases, fine, have less than 2 drones per mineral patch. But, geez, this early in the game, always have at least 2 drones per mineral patch. Always. You often want to aim a little higher than that. All the way up to 3, you still get some return, but those first 2 per patch are very important. So what I would do as IMOC is I would box this, say, oh my god, I need 2 more drones, and immediately make 2 drones, at least. Probably more, since you need a few to turn into buildings. Okay, lair is done, and IMOC is going for a spire. I like this. He went for the spire pretty much as soon as the lair finished, and that is an important kind of timing to keep in mind. But also, look at what's happening. IMOC is on 1 base, just 1, so he has only this gas, and he's relying heavily on banelings. This is a little bit of a logical problem. If you want mutas so fast, you probably want enough gas to get more than 2 or 3. But if you're spending so much money on banelings, look, these 4 banelings, that's 1 muta. These 4 banelings, that's 1 muta. These 4 banelings, that's 1 muta. It looks like IMOC is only going to be able to afford 2 mutas. And I just have to ask, what is the purpose of rushing to get 2 mutalisks? Of sacrificing an early expansion? Of sacrificing your drone count? he's really giving up a lot to get a really fast 2 or 3 Mutalisks. And it's just not, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't mean that there's some high-level reason that that strategy is bad. I don't mean that there's something his opponent can do that counters it. You know, I don't mean anything fancy or high-level or pro-sounding. I just mean, if you want Mutalisks, you probably want more than 2 or 3. Maybe you want 4 or 5 only. But I think Imok overmade Banelings. Spire comes out, and 3 Mutalisks on the way right away. And he's about to get supply blocked again. So, again, I'm laughing a little bit because it's funny to point out just how often you can get supply blocked in one game. But being supply blocked, it's sort of like tripping and falling over in the middle of a boxing match or something like that. It's pretty bad. I mean, you're put significantly under the back foot when you cannot make anything. I mean, that's huge. StarCraft is all about making stuff and killing your opponent with it. If you can't make stuff, it's a big deal. So here, Imok has 3 mutas out. Forced Ornament from that turret. Yeah, probably wants to pick away a little bit up here. And these Mutalisks are doing a decent amount of damage. 4 just having 3. It would be a little nicer to have 5. See, he couldn't even really pick off SCVs. A couple in the red here. He damaged 3, but couldn't really kill them very fast because of only 3 Mutalisks out. Opponent is apparently lagging. So one thing, and this is more specific for Zerg players, obviously. Queens are great. You should have another queen out, especially with this much money, because that queen will at least let you lay a creep tumor to connect up your bases, which is very, very important if you're relying on Banelings for defense, because Banelings are slow as balls off creep. Oh, sorry, I did a lip smack there. I'm told that those are horrible when I do those, so I'm going to try to avoid them. Anyway, if you get a queen... God damn it. If you get a queen you can at least get a creep tumor, and you can get more larvae, of course, from the second hatchery, and you can spend your money on great things like drones or Zerglings. Really important to spend your money. If you don't spend your money, it's not doing you any good. Imok, I would really just like to say, get more drones out faster. That's a huge deal, but you can really see it showing right here. He's missing some larvae, maybe because he needed a queen. But he has enough right now to spend on 11 drones. That's certainly possible. And that would make this expansion look a lot healthier. And in general, I would say that 10 minutes into the game, you should just have a much, much stronger economy. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to, after this, splice in a replay of me doing a slightly more macro-oriented opening and just showing how much farther ahead you can be after 10 minutes. And I think I'm actually going to stop this here because I already feel like Imok would be so far behind here against a good player that with this kind of play, you would have no hope of getting into Diamond. Just none. This is too slow. The drone count is too low. These Banelings are not doing very much. These Mutalisks were fairly ineffective. And those little inefficiencies, have just added up into an opening that doesn't look very strong. And if you want to fix that, you really have to look at all of those little mistakes one at a time and fix them. Don't get supply blocked at 18 supply. Don't get supply blocked at 26 supply. Don't get supply blocked at 34 supply. Don't get supply blocked as long as you can avoid it. And really think about your decisions. If I want fast Mutalisks, can I also afford the gas to get Banelings? If I want both Mutalisks and Banelings, might I need more gas, so should I consider a faster expansion? And maybe more drones early. If it's so important for me to rush for Banelings, might I want more Zerglings around? I mean, there's just lots of little things to think about. And hopefully I've mentioned enough to get you started. because that's really the important part. I cannot point out every possible flaw in every possible game you're going to play, but you need to start cranking up your standard if you want to break into the higher leagues. That's really the important part. You can't look at this game and say, oh man, I almost did a good job with Mutalisks, but I needed more. No, that's not it. You can't say, oh, maybe I could have Baneling busted him in one. No, that's not it. Because the thing is, Top Dog is not playing very well either. Top Dog is expanded to the right side for some reason, doesn't really make any sense, and doesn't really have a lot of units. Really low on food for this time of the game, actually significantly behind in food at the moment. Made turrets too early, even though he could have defended with just Marines. Lots of mistakes from Top Dog. So you cannot base your decisions on your opponent when your opponent's in a lower league. Top Dog is not playing well, and you should not be playing to beat him. You should be playing to beat diamond level players. And the way to do that is just fix these little things. Make your build very clear, very smooth, very strong, and don't make any mistakes. So